In this video I'm going to show you how to create the advanced WordPress theme. So in this video we will create three widget plugins, and we will see how to customize it. Now if you wish to change the logo, you can do it. We have created this from scratch, from HTML template to bootstrap. Fine. If I remove it, it is gone. Now if you wish to add, you can add it. Not only the logo, the banner is also dynamic. If you see, this is the banner, the text. We have a banner. Let me change the text. I have left the source code in the description to follow along. And if you see, the heading is also dynamic on the banner, and if you wish to change the banner, it is also possible. And this is done using the customizer, WordPress customizer. And now if you wish to change the three boxes, you can do it. The first one is the icon, and the second one is the heading, and third one is the description. If I wish to change the font awesome class, I can do it. The link will be on the first, and if I publish it, it will be saved. Now if I refresh, the link icon will be on the first. Now this is the widget plugin, and if you see, I can change the content. This is the content. Now let me just add my channel name over here. If I refresh it, and this is also the same way, widget 2, and these are the footers. If you see, I have added footer 1, footer 2 and footer 3. Fine. Now if I get into the blog, this is for the blog, and there is category at the sidebar, and this is one blog, this is two blog, and this is the page, about page, and again the widget is following along with the pages as well, widget and footer, the sample page. And on the blog, if you wish to read more, you can click on read more button, so it will take you to the complete blog post with the comment. Now this is a static HTML. I have converted it. If you see, this is the static HTML I am showing you right now, and these are the pages which we have converted to WordPress. But this is a widget section, widget 2 section, and footer 1, footer 2 and footer 3 section. These are static in the HTML form, and this is the page, category in the sidebar, widget 1, widget 2 and footers. And then the blog, again it's a static page, static design, which we will be converting to WordPress in this video within 1 hour. And finally, if you wish to click on read more, it will take you to the single.html file. Now if you see the title, fine, let's install the WordPress, which is the latest version 5.5.1, and I have installed it on my htdocs. And if I rename it, it will be my project name. So let me create a database. So this is our database name. I'm going to name the same for my WordPress folder. Click on continue, and now let's give the credential about the database. Username is root and the password is nothing, and it will ask you to create the login and password for the dashboard, the site title, the username to access, and the password to login. And if you log in, you have created the credential. Now put it on the field and click on login. Now you are available. Now at present there are three themes. Let me delete these three themes and start our theme from scratch. So inside the themes folder, which is inside WP content, we have three folders. Let me delete it and let's create ours. I'll name it as UI Monk. Now let me open it on my Visual Studio Code. So for the theme to run, at least we need two files, index.php and style.css. Let me create index.php first on the theme folder, and then let me create style.css. So in the style.css, I will have a comment section, and that comment section will clearly describe the theme name and the theme description and the theme author. Fine, let me create the comment. So along with these two files, there is one more file called screenshot.png, which is optional. If you wish, you can add. So that will show the preview of your theme. So on the appearance inside themes, to see the preview, we need screenshot.png. I'm not going to add screenshot.png. I'm just going to work with these two files. So theme name, then description about the theme, then you can have version, then you can have author, then you can have author URI. Fine, if you see there is only one. If you click on theme details, you will see the details which you have filled on the style.css. So on the right side, these details you have filled on the style.css. Now if I get into the home link, it will be blank because it is loading from index.php. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open the static file and I'm going to place the index.html content to index.php. So on the static file, we have a style sheet. So that style, I'll copy it on my style.css. So to link the style.css with index.php, we have a function in WordPress called bloginfo, and we need to pass a parameter called stylesheet URL. So that will link the style sheet with our index.php. And now, as I said, let me link the style.css with index.php using the function bloginfo. And the bloginfo function will accept a parameter called stylesheet URL. Now if you refresh, the footer links shows up because we have added our style sheet. Now let's separate the header and footer. From the navbar till the navbar, we'll place this content in the separate file called header.php. Now to access the header.php, WordPress gives you a function which is get header. It's a function. The same way, let's paste the footer content on the different page and name it as footer.php. And to access the footer.php file on the index.php, WordPress gives you a function which is get footer. Now to give the style sheet from the WordPress, we have a function which is wp head, and to get the top bar for the WordPress, we have wp footer. So let's get the column. Let's get the sidebar first. So this section is simply the sidebar. Let me place it into a file called sidebar.php. And to call this sidebar.php from index.php, we have a function called get template parts, and we need to pass the file name as a parameter for get template part template function. Get template part is a function. We need to pass the parameter sidebar. So I'm again if you see, there are two sections which is getting repeated. So what I did is I just placed it into a different file called widget hyphen section. Now again the same way I have called it using the get template part. The first parameter is widget, the second parameter is section. Both I have differentiated with hyphen on the file name. And now, as I said, let's add WP footer, and for header it is WP head. WP head will add the necessary style sheet and JavaScript on the header, and WP footer will add the top bar. I'll show you the top bar in a minute. I think the mistake is WP head, and for footer is WP footer. So if you refresh, the top bar is because of the WP footer. The next thing, let's make the menu available. So for that we have to create a file called function.php, and we need to register a menu that we would be needing the menu in this particular theme. So to register, we have a hook called after theme setup, and that will initialize the menu. Now on the appearance tab, the menu will be available. Let's see what is the error. I have left the source code in the description, don't worry about it, just follow the steps. So let's create a menu. So click on the primary. Now on the header.php we have a menu. So this thing will be coming from the nav worker. So this is the fourth tutorial we are following nav worker. By now we would be very clear how to use nav worker theme, sorry, nav worker whatever it is plugin. The reason for using is we can use drop down menu. Let's call the function from the, let's call that class file from the function using the require once function. And that isn't enough, we need to read a documentation, and that will provide a function. That function we need to use on the nav bar. So it will ask whether we have container. So already we have a container, so this is a container we don't need, so let me give false for the container. So the class is also similar to the container, so I'll remove it because this class is already applied to our container, this one. Now we need to give this style to the menu class, and that's it, your drop down menu is ready. Now to test it, let me yeah, I have made the nav bar to float right using the mr-auto. And now let's work on the icon. So if you see, there is no button for site identity to change for the logo. So to make available, we need to get into the function. Again we need to add a function called add theme setup support, and now if you refresh you will see the logo section to upload. Now let's upload a different logo. So this is the logo I'm going to use. Let me crop it as per my need. Once we have just made available logo, but we did not paste this on our HTML. So for that we have to paste this, we have to use some code on the header.php. So the function will give the image, which is the custom logo. If there is no image, then you can have the regular HTML, which is the logo. So if I refresh, at present I have published it, the saves, I have saved the settings. Now you can see the image is dynamic, the menu is dynamic, the image is dynamic. Now let's make this slider as dynamic. So if you see, let me crop the image for the logo a bit. So let's create some page to check whether our menu is drop down support, our menu has drop down support or not. Now if I refresh, we have to add this to the menu, and let me make this as a sub menu. Now let me create a file called front page. So if I leave the front page blank, you will see, now if we see, I'm going to leave the front page blank, and I'm going to load the website. It is not going to open because WordPress will search for the front page and it is blank now. So let me paste whatever is inside the index.php, let me paste it on the front page, and let me make the front page as the it is not available. So for that we need to create a page called home and blog. I'll make this jumbotron available on the sidebar. So let's create a two pages. The first one is for blog and the second one is for home. So the home will get the front page, front-page.php, and the blog will get the index.php. Now you can set the home page to home and a blog page to blog, post page to blog, and you can change it over here as well for the same. It is already applied because we have done on the customized section. Now let's add the customized section on the function.php. So to show the first section, which is banner, so if you refresh you will see a banner section on the sidebar. Let me hard refresh. Yes, there is banner section. It is because of the first function, which is add section. Now once the section is added, we can insert the field and the input field and the label using add control and add setting, which is this is a theme name. UI monk is a theme name, which is what I'm specifying now. So this is a description which you see here. Now this is the text field and the default text. Default text is banner heading, and this is for the theme. Please note the type, which is theme mode, which I will be showing you while accessing this field from the index.php or the front page.php. Now again, the add control is for the label. So the first field appears. The same way, we need another field for the description. So this is for heading. So for every field we need to run two functions. The first one is add setting and the second one is add control. The sequence is important or else it won't work. Now this time it is a banner description. This is unique, and this is the default input field text. Default text for input field. And this is label text for the particular text field. So the second text field would be visible on the banner section. Now again, what we need is we need to add background image. So for that, to make this available, what we have to do is let's make the banner available. Just copy paste the same thing which we have did for the description. The add setting is going to same, just change the ID and the default value be space, which is nothing. And now for add control, we have to create object for WP customize image control. The section which is for this section and the settings. So if we refresh, it will be available. Now you can add the image. It won't get reflected because okay, the same way let's add these for the boxes as well. The same copy paste work. Previously we used banner, now it would be box 1, box 2 and box 3. Let's create a section first. Let me give the section name as box. The title and the description about the box. For the theme UI monk. Now let's add 3 input field for one particular. The first one is for font awesome icon. The second one is for heading and the third one is for description. So we need 3 field. Each field has 2 function which we know, which is add setting and add control. So it's just a copy paste work. We just have to change the ID from box 1, box 2 and box 3. That's it. This is the ID and this is the default text. And the label to show. So if I refresh, I should see So before I refresh, I need to take the font awesome class name from here. The same way, now it's for heading. And we want the font awesome icon to be available on the section box. So this is the default label for heading box 1, and here the section, which is block, not banner, or else this input field will be available on the banner section. Click on box. So we have added two field, and finally we need description. Box 1 description, and default text for input field, and this is label, and this is input field default text. So now if we refresh, we have three boxes, so we have three input field, one box is complete. The same way, we just have to change the name from box 1 to box 2 and box 3. It's a repetitive work, and I have done it. Fine. Now we have to implement the value on front page. So which is really very simple. You just have to get into the front-page.php, and if you change, it is not changing right now because we have not added the function. If you remember, I have said please note the theme module. Now we will be using the theme module. And if you see, it is now changeable. We just have to pass the ID, that's it. And the function name is get theme mod, and if there is no value on the input field, then give this second argument, which is default value. Default value will be given once there is no input field, there is no value from the input field. These are the IDs which we need to pass, and this is description, and if you change the description, that will change. At present is default value. Now let me paste this. My channel name is also available, that means it is dynamic now. If I publish it, and the changes will be saved here. The same way I have to copy paste these to all these to three this I have to copy paste these things, this function, to the three boxes. and without fail I need to properly give the ID, that is box 1 heading, box 2 heading, box 3 heading, the same way. We'll look at the banner image in a second, but let's complete the box section now. And now if you refresh, these are with default value, because I have not filled this input field value from the customizer. This class is also insertable from the customizer input field. Now if you see, the heading is dynamic now. Now all the content is dynamic. Now let's work on the background image. Let's give the inline style background image. Whatever value we insert on the input field, that can be accessed with the ID. So with the help of get the mod function, we can access it. If you look at it, I have left the second parameter as blank. So if there is no image, then let us make it blank. That's what I meant by the second parameter blank. So if I refresh, we just have to give the inline style properly for the background position. If we remove, it will be replaced with single quotes, blank single quotes. Now let's adjust the background size using the Chrome inspector. Let me forward it. Fine. Now let's make this section dynamic. If you see the dashboard, if you get into the appearance, there is no widget section. So to make it available, you have to get into the function.php and add the theme support for the widget, which is register sidebar. So at present I am adding content 1. So if you see widget is available, if you click on it, the content 1 section is also available because we have registered the sidebar. Now likewise, let me add the second content as well. Refresh it. Now second content is also available. On the first thing, let's track before widget. This is after widget. So before title and then the after title. It is very easy now. Now we just have to drag the text area, text box, and this is the title. If I save, I just have to use the active sidebar, dynamic sidebar function over here. If the sidebar is active, then display the dynamic sidebar. So to wrap around, let me add a class between the dynamic sidebar data, and it would be surrounded with a div, and that div will have a class. So let's give the class name as unbreakable. We just have to break the word break, break all, that's it. Now if you refresh, that is working. The same way, now let's work on the content 2, which is really similar. Instead of text, now we would be passing the custom HTML. So this is the custom HTML. I have to drag the custom HTML to this content section and paste the custom HTML. Now we need to pass the ID for the active sidebar and dynamic sidebar, and that is working. Now we made this plugin as well. Sorry, this is not a plugin, this is a widget. In the previous video we have seen how to create widget using plugin. The same way we need to create we need to register three sidebar again: footer 1, footer 2 and footer 3. You just have to make sure whether what is the surrounding div or span. And again, I'm just going to paste the custom HTML, because we have seen how to create the custom widget plugin in the previous video. It would be repetitive, so I'll just show you how to add a footer using the simplest custom HTML theme. We need to pass the sidebar. This is footer 1, and then comes footer 2. Footer 3 is also completely filled. Now if I refresh, except the first footer, everything is fine, because for first footer I have used the text instead of custom HTML. That's the problem. Fine. If you see, again we need to add a separate div, which is a separate div with class unbreakable. Fine, everything seems to be working fine now. Let me make the blog page available on the menu. It is not ready-madely available. You have to search for the blog. Add to menu. Change the position. And that's it. Your blog is also available. Now let's work on the blog. You know the blog is taking from index.php. So if I make it blank, what will happen is, If I click on block, it will be blank. So what I did is I just copied the content from front page.php and I pasted it to the blog.php. Now the blog.html is a unique one, again with the help of for while loop, which we have done in the previous video, the same repetitive task. If you wish to skip the task, you can do it, because everything from now what I'm going to do is I have already covered in the previous 5 WordPress themes. Make available for the category. So I'm going to modify the this section will be coming from the widget. Or let me separate this file from separate this file on a different file and call it sidebar using get template part function. The same way I'm going to use the custom HTML. So instead of custom HTML, let's modify the WP includes file. You see, let's leave it, or else it will be very time consuming, because we have already done it many videos. So a particular row, so this content is getting repeated, so we'll place this content inside the for loop and it will run till there is 0 block left. Let me add some blog post so that we can see some content or category on the sidebar. And I'm going to make available the feature image for the post. So at present on the sidebar there is no feature image, so if I refresh, there would be there, because of post thumbnail add theme support. Now let me create some posts. Let me add this post to some categories. So what are we pasting now is content. So whatever paste on the sidebar is excerpt. Let me add this post to some category. The reason for doing this is the category won't be visible on the sidebar until there is post available for it. So the same thing I'm going to do for loop, sorry, while loop, and wherever the place is there, I will be just using the title, the author, the time function, the excerpt, and the permalink, and the post link. The post thumbnail is for the image. I'll leave the source code in the description to follow along. The excerpt, the permalink. So once I click on the permalink, it will lead me to a new file which is single.php. At present, single.php is not created, so the WordPress will take the layout from the index.php. The author, fine. If I click on read more, now what will happen is it will be blank because it is blank. The single.php is blank. So to what we do is we'll copy the content from index.php and paste it on the single.php. Fine. Along with that, we have some HTML modification as well. Instead of 4 by 4, now we'll do is 12 by 12, 12 column. That's it. And finally, to add the comments, I'd be using the function called comments template. And that's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening.